The title of my guest lecture today is Becoming Global Citizens. And I will share with you three main points. So the first point is I will examine the question, what is a global citizen? And explain why it is important for you to become a global citizen. Then I will go through 5 points that might make you a global citizen. And this include, for example, becoming aware of belonging to a global community, as well as, of course, to your local community, but also learning about global issues beyond your borders, so beyond Japan, creating time for more cross-cultural conversations and connection, cultivating compassion and empathy for other cultures, using your voice, either in English or the Japanese, to advocate for awareness of global issues, and of course, traveling and experience new places and culture. And I will conclude my guest lecture with a brief summary of the main points discussed today. And then I will give you an opportunity to ask me some questions about the topic of becoming global citizens. So let's now focus on my PowerPoint slides. What is a global citizen? So a global citizen is someone who is aware of and understands the wider world and their place in it. They take an active role in their community and work with others to make our planet more peaceful, sustainable, and fairer. So this is the basic definition offered by Oxfam about what is a global citizen. But then the second question is, why is it important for you to become a global citizen? So I outlined at least 5 points. It is important for you to become a global citizen because you become aware of the wider world and you will respect and value diversity. You understand world affairs. You are outraged by social injustice and you will act to challenge injustice. You will contribute to the community at all levels, from the local to the global. And you will also be willing to act to make our world a more sustainable place. Now, here we enter into the core of my presentation, where I thought that I should share with you 5 steps to becoming a global citizen based on my experiences, based on my connections, and my teachings, pedagogy, and also feedback I received from my students on the topic of global citizenship. So the first step to become a global citizen is to expand your viewpoint, to become aware of belonging to a global community, which, by the way, doesn't mean that you forget about your local community. Here we are talking about best ways to connect your local and your global community. So when we're talking about expanding your viewpoint, we're talking about the fact that in our society, in our everyday lives, we kind of feel that we are becoming more interconnected. We live in a globalized society. And so as a global citizen, you must think about where your technology, food, clothing, and even music come from. So again, you live in a globalized world and your mindset has to change. And so as a global citizen, you must expand your awareness to realize that your labels, for example, as you will see on screen, your nationality, your religion, your culture, do not necessarily define who you are, because beyond these labels, you are all, and we are all part of one community on the planet, and you are all citizens of the planet. And so you are a citizen of the world or indeed a global citizen, or I like also the term planetary citizen. In this perspective, planetary citizenship or world citizenship are appropriate synonyms for global citizenship. So we're talking about a vision of planetary citizens, world citizens, global citizens. These are all fine synonyms that you will hear when you start conversations about global citizenship with your friends, with your colleagues at a university, and when you travel the world. The second step to become a global citizen is to develop interest in learning about global issues beyond your borders. For example, beyond Japan, because at the moment we are all located in Japan. So to become a global citizen, you must become more aware of the issues affecting our planet and our countries. And this includes global pandemic, for example, the COVID-19 crisis, but also climate change. Here you will see that I introduced a short note. The global temperatures are rising and are estimated to increase from 2.6 degrees Celsius to 4.8 degrees Celsius by 2099. So that means that our summer will be very hot, very, very hot, more than it is right now. Other issues that you might develop interest in are pollution, violence, security and well-being, lack of education, unemployment, hunger, and water scarcity. These issues are all interconnected, and they should be addressed not only at the local level, but to a global extent. And so that's why learning about global issues becomes very, very important. So as a global citizens, you must learn about and face with a global mindset all these issues, because they are not only, as I just said, related to Japan, but they concern countries worldwide, particularly developing countries, Kenya, all the countries in South Africa, all these areas, the so-called developing countries, are faced with these issues. And because in developed countries, we have the opportunity to study and advance research, by developing interest in these issues, we can also help developing countries. Step 3, travel or experience new places. Of course, with the COVID-19 crisis, please prioritize your health and other people's health. But then when in the future, people will start traveling again, you will have an opportunity to experience new places, and you will be immersed into new cultures, new customs, new languages and traditions that can literally open your minds to how the world really is. And so traveling and experiencing new places becomes very, very important. And so when you experience the diversity that the world will offer, then you become a global citizen who is more aware that there are many different ways of doing things, many different approaches of doing things. So this will certainly help you to open up your mind and become more flexible and more tolerant and more respectful. So one key point here in step 3 is to understand diversity as a key to become a global citizen. So diversity is a very key word in our discussion on becoming global citizens. Let me move on with step 4. So create time for more cross-cultural conversations and connection. We are all busy, particularly your life as a student is very busy, but starting a conversation, a dialogue between people of 2 or more different cultures can help indeed our society as a whole to heal divides that keep us apart. So prejudice, lack of respect. So starting a conversation becomes very, very important with people different from us. And therefore, of course, your English will become a tool to understand diversity and to understand different cultures. So when you engage in an authentic, real conversation, you gradually become able to connect and gain new knowledge and insight, and hear, literally and simply hear other people's story and become more aware of the reality, the problems they're facing, and potentially you will become also able to help them out. And in this way, you will cultivate a good friendship. And as a global citizen, you must really, really treasure this connection and be aware that the impact of this cross-cultural conversation and connection can be, I would say, summarized as follows. First of all, through cross-cultural conversation and connection, you will develop authentic connection. Authentic means real. You also will be able to recognize common humanity. So you will be able to recognize what you have in common with your friends from different cultures, different countries. You will create new friendship and unity. And you will also become more open to learn and understand others. And last but not least, you will develop compassion and empathy for others. So taking the time for more cross-cultural conversations and connections, whether at your university, in your part-time workplace, in society in general, is a very important step to becoming a global citizen. Let me now move on with step 5, transform your lifestyle and habits, live in a sustainable manner. So live in a sustainable manner means that as global citizens, you must be aware that the type of, for example, transportation you use on a daily basis, how you eat or cool your homes, the type of clothes you wear, and the food you eat affect your quality of life. And as global citizens, you need to adopt environmentally responsible behaviors in the way you live. This means that the more you respect the environment, the more your quality of life will increase, but not only yours, but also that of your friends and people in other countries. So become friends with your environment if we want to be really straightforward and simple. And so when you become a global citizen, then you become a global citizen also through your daily actions, based on the fact that knowing without acting is not sufficient, actually is insufficient. And so since global citizenship is about caring about the well-being of the whole planet, one of the best ways for you to contribute is through your daily actions indeed. So here are some examples that you will see also on screen. Recycle, reuse. You might want to donate old items, limit your plastic use less water, raise awareness of global warming among your circle of friends. You might also want to discuss about pollution, plastic waste. Of course, there is a long list, but I included this short list for the purposes of this presentation, and perhaps later during our Q&A, we could expand on this. So in summary, today, I first share with you a brief, but I believe and I hope effective definition of what does it mean to be a global citizen and its relevance. And then I share with you 5 steps to becoming a global citizen. The first one is expand your viewpoint. The second one is to develop interest in learning about global issues. The third one is to travel or experience new places. The fourth one is create time for more cross-cultural conversations or connections. And the number 5 is transform your lifestyle. Try to live more sustainably. Now, let me conclude with a quote. This is from Ban Ki-moon, the former United Nations Secretary General, who says that we must foster global citizenship. Education is about more than literacy and numeracy. It is also about citizenry. Education must fully assume its essential role in helping people to forge more just, peaceful, and tolerant societies. Thank you for listening. It was a pleasure, and now questions are welcome on the topic.